2024 presidential candidate Nikki Haley. Ambassador Haley, great to have you here today. We just heard from Mike Pence, Chuck Grassley there at the State Fair, reacting to the news. How are you responding?
I don't trust it. I don't think the American people trust it. I don't think that the American people trust the Department of Justice or anything this is going to do. I think that this was meant to be a distraction. It's not a distraction. I think the Bidens are on a sinking ship. And I think this is our opportunity to make sure not only that we get a new president in the White House, but that we go and we clean house in the Department of Justice while we're at it.
All right, Ambassador Haley, we're obviously monitoring for a lot of reaction. You may not be shocked when I tell you we can't find a lot of Democrats reacting right now, but certainly Republicans are making their voices heard. Where do you believe this ultimately will go next? There's big conversations about what happens with the investigations in the House, whether or not they are obstructed from continuing to have their investigations play out. Now that this special counsel is appointed, what do you see happening next with all of this?
I think this is in response to the pressure that the Biden family is feeling. I think this is in response to the pressure the Department of Justice is feeling. What I would say is the House needs to keep their foot on the gas, keep this investigation going, don't let up. I think they're trying to get, basically trying to distract away from all this money conversation about what's happened with the Biden family and put it back on and say they're trying to do something with Hunter Biden. But look, we all lost trust a long time ago. And the fact that they tried to give him a sweetheart deal, the fact that they tried to get one past a judge for him to plead guilty when, there was still an ongoing investigation is everything that we need to know. The Biden family has been doing this for a very long time. They were doing it while he was vice president. They were doing it after he was vice president. We don't know what they're doing as president, but what we do know is it smells bad. And at the end of the day, this is exactly why we need a new generational leader in the White House. We need to get rid of all of this old, powerful intrigue that is happening. We need to get rid of all the distractions. We need to get rid of all of the chaos. We've got to start focusing on real issues, like why China is planning war with us, like why we're $32 trillion in debt, like why we don't have transparency in the classrooms and our kids are falling further behind, why we have open borders that are not being closed, and why we've got national security issues left and right. That's what we need to be talking about, not sitting there having to focus on how much money they happen to get because they were doing a pay-to-play scenario. It's terrible.
Senator Haley, this is Jillian. Is there a sense among Republicans out on the campaign trail today, this week, that what is unfolding, I'm curious how you square the fact that what is unfolding today might be difficult, uncharted territory for the country, but it's also true that it's probably politically helpful for candidates out there trying to stake their claim about how they're different from the current president, as you just did a moment ago, that this will add some momentum to your campaigns.
Well, not senator, governor, ambassador, and soon to be president. But I will tell you that, when we go to town halls in South Carolina, New Hampshire, and Iowa, no one is talking about Trump's legal issues. No one's talking about Biden's legal issues. What they are talking about is the fact that groceries and gas are still expensive. They're worried about the fact that their kids have fallen behind. They don't understand why we haven't closed a border, and they want to know why we're letting China have our lunch. That's what they're talking about. I don't hear anything about, the Hunter Biden cases or the Trump cases. I do hear a lot about the distrust in federal government, the distrust in our intelligence agencies, the distrust in the Department of Justice, and the fact that the federal government's just way too big. And more reason why we have to reduce the size of the federal government. It's what I'll do. Send all of those functions down to the state so we can empower the people. That's the focus that we have to do. All of this corruption and chaos, even when you look at Congress, what has Congress done for us lately? Nothing. I mean, we've got to start getting control. We have to start leading again. We have to start being strong again. That's just not happening right now.
Well, what do you, when you obviously go back and strategize, you have a huge debate coming up. Could be a make or break moment, especially for a lot of the candidates who have not been able to really rise in the polls here. But looking what is happening now with the Bidens, the special counsel appointed, we don't know whether or not the president himself is under investigation per our question to the DOJ. Ambassador Haley, what are you doing to prepare for who the opponent may be on the other side? Is this a good day for, I don't know, Doug Schoen made the point a couple weeks ago, Gavin Newsom?
You know, I don't know that it's a good day for America at all. I mean, you've got a former president that's been charged 73 times. You've got now the current president and his family who are in these pay-to-play schemes. I think it's all the more reason why we've got to have a new generational candidate and a new generation of a president. But what I will tell you is the debates, I look forward to them. Look, I was a two-term governor. I know about domestic policy. I know what it takes to turn a state into an economic powerhouse. I negotiated across from China and Russia. I know the foreign policy threats that face us. And so going into a debate, there's not so much preparation as it's a great opportunity for the American people to see what their options are. And it's the start of the season. You know, it's actually been early. Families have been on vacation, kids have been out of school, but now this will be the jump start to where people start really paying attention. And so I look forward to the debate. It's, you know, it's go time, and we're excited to see what happens from here.
Well, you had my attention at inflation, you know. I mean, you're out talking to voters, Ambassador, and I agree with you. That's what you're hearing the most from people. Those prices are not coming down at the grocery store. So I'll put you on the spot. Pete, we talk about this on the show a lot. So if you had the opportunity to implement policies day one that would bring prices down, what would it be?
I think, first of all, I would do exactly what I did as governor, replace the head of every agency and make sure we send people into every single agency to clean house, pull down regulations, pull down any sort of bureaucracy, and make sure that we go and get rid of any problem children and let them know that if you're costing a person or a business time, you're costing them money, and that's no longer acceptable. Right. The second thing is we'll make sure that we're energy independent, and we will go to Congress and we will say enough with the spending, enough with the borrowing, and we're eliminating the earmarks that both Republicans and Democrats have put into place. And I will veto any spending bill that doesn't take us back to pre-COVID levels. The accountant in me is saying, look, this spending addiction by both Republicans and Democrats has to stop. When you look at earmarks, Sandra, in the 2024 budget, Republicans literally have in the budget $7.4 billion of earmarks or port projects. Democrats have $2.8 billion. Who are the big spenders now? We got to take on all of Congress and say enough of wasting our money. Now we're going to start putting money back into people's pockets.
Ambassador, thank you so much for joining us. Good to have you on the program.
Thank you.
Thanks. Go to NikkiHaley.com and join us.